am so excited that it is garden tour season here in Florida in Garden Zone 9A. And if you remember, we've already introduced you to the 2023 container garden in this video here. Now, it's been a month and it's time to update you and see how much the garden has grown in only 1 month. So let's check it out. Hey friends, I'm Barbra-Sue at Kowalski Mountain. Welcome back to our channel. Well, I am here in the container garden, and if you will take a look behind me, it's growing like crazy this time of year, and I can't wait to show you all the changes that happened in just 1 month. Now, right behind me is the green stalk, and I planted this completely with green beans. And I actually replanted some of the holes that didn't have any growth in it, but my seeds might be old and germination rate not good because I don't think any of those seeds I replanted came through. They were a yellow green bean, so we will definitely know if they survived, but especially on the back side, I can see that there's not a lot of growth. I am really to the point where I think I want to get the spinners that go on the bottom so that I can turn my green stalks so that they will grow a little bit more evenly. I haven't invested in those, but I kind of think they're worth it. So they're definitely on my wish list. But the green beans are doing great. Now, I have not harvested any green beans from the green stalk yet, but there's lots of flowers and baby green beans. I'm looking for some baby green beans. I saw them the other day when I was looking, so I know they're here. Oops, there's one. Here's a baby green bean. Very tiny. And you can see when I walk around the green stalk, this side is doing really, really well. And this side, it's just doing okay. So I can definitely see where those spinners could help, and I could rotate this. I've got a weed right here. Trying to grow. Get that out of there. I can't wait. The green bean harvest is coming. Now this little tomato is a volunteer tomato. And if you don't know what that means, it means it came back. I didn't plant it, it just grew. And the longer that you have a garden, the more volunteer plants you're going to have because fruit falls to the ground and the seeds are in that. So you are going to have volunteer plants that grow in your garden. Now these tomatoes are extremely prolific, and I wish I knew the name of them. They were given to me, so I don't know the name of the variety. But they do a very tiny little tomato, which is great on salads. They're also great for garnishing a dish because they're tiny and they come in different sizes and they're really cute and they make a really pretty garnish. But they grow like crazy. Now this plant behind me already has fruit on it, so let's check it out. Now you can see the flowers. And I've got some more flowers up here. And I've got some fruit right down here. So you can see the little clusters of tomatoes. There's more right here. Now this is one sad little pineapple. It did not handle the frost very well. If it survives, I hope we can get it in the ground in Kentucky in the greenhouse. That's our plan, that we'll have a greenhouse for more tropical plants year-round where they can live, and maybe it'll do better outside of these pots or in something much larger like a regular raised garden bed that is a little bit more stable. I've just not had much luck with pineapples, and as I walk every morning, I see people that have pineapples on their plants, so I know it should be blooming now, and it's not. So we'll keep trying. Now these are the loofahs, and if you missed it, that I grew loofahs for the first time last year, and loofahs are a sponge, and we love our loofah sponges. I use them in the kitchen. They make a great scrubbing sponge that doesn't scratch your kitchenware. And these are also volunteers. I had not planned to plant any loofahs this year, but they're growing all over the place. So I put a few of them in a pot. This looks a little droopy. I think this needs a little bit of water. But they're doing really great, and they're a really easy thing to grow, and it's really fun to grow your own sponges. So definitely check out that video, I'll link it here, of how we grew our own sponges, and it's a really great project if you want to do it with the kids. Now if you remember, my potatoes were some potatoes left over from the potatoes we grew last year, and they kind of went soft before we get a chance to eat them all. So I saved them and I planted them, and they're growing, so that's really exciting. Now I've already done this once, but I need to add more dirt to the potato bags. Now if you don't know, a potato will grow roots along its entire stem, so the more dirt I put in, the more room there'll be for potatoes to grow. So I'm going to do that today. Now a sure sign of a healthy garden is earthworms, and I'm finding them. Very wiggly earthworms. Now those potatoes will continue to grow, and the potatoes are the roots, so we want this whole bag to be full of potatoes. Now we're to the tomato section of the garden, and I told you last time these were paste tomatoes, but I forgot. I didn't have any paste seeds. The nice thing about doing YouTube is I have good notes of what I did because I made a video about it. And I had two varieties. I had one from Baker's Creek called Tomato Reusable, and then I also had a variety called Tomato Delicious, and I think that one was from Burpee. Now, I planted 2 trays of seedlings, and only one sprouted, but I didn't label them, so I don't know which is which. Now, if I was gonna guess, I would say these are the Baker's Creek Tomato Reusable, only because those were newer seeds, and old seeds will germinate, but they don't always germinate as well, and this entire tray had germinated, whereas the other tray didn't at all. So that's my best guess, but I really don't know. So they're gonna be tomatoes, and I'm excited about it. Now the tomatoes are growing great. Now, last week I actually put up some of these strings so I could hang the tomatoes a little bit better to guide their growth, and I have some video coverage of that I'm going to show you. Now after I did that video, Philip came in and pruned all the tomatoes, which I really appreciated that. Believe it or not, he is the gardener in our household, and he came in and did a really good pruning, which I was kind of counting on him doing. So that's been done. They're growing great, and I'm starting to see flowers, which means there's going to be tomatoes really soon. So you can see that rope around the main stem, and it goes up to the top where it holds it. Now I know some of you cringed when I pulled those elephant ears out last month, but they're already coming back. I told you they would. Nature finds a way. Now we also planted some green beans up here, and we've actually been harvesting some of these green beans. I get about a dozen at a time, if I'm lucky. And you know what? I cook them up anyway. I just throw them in with dinner, no matter how many there are. Well, today I only found 2, so I'm gonna eat them. Man, that one should have been picked a while ago. That one was tough. I didn't like that one. This one I hope is better. Not actually. Ah. Now up here on the deck I have the green beans and some extra tomato starts that I started. We didn't throw them out, we kept them. I also have some blackberries and some grapes that we are raising up to plant on the farm. These are blackberries. Now my gladiolas, they did not bloom this year, so they have not been super happy in the pot. Now this is an onion that I bought from the grocery store, and I went into the pantry and it was growing, and I just left it on the counter in the house, but my mother-in-law Joy, she must have stuck it in the dirt because it's growing like crazy. So if nothing else, I have some scallions from it. I do not know what this is. I'm going to guess it is a blackberry. That's a guess. Now these next plants were a gift from my daughter, Faith Hardy. Now Faith has a YouTube channel, and she does not have a good place to have a garden space. And she was afforded the opportunity to help another gardener. Now this is an excellent mentoring opportunity for her. She gets to work with an experienced gardener so she can learn from her and apply that to her own gardening skills. And she gets to have some of her own garden space as well. Well, I'm not exactly sure where she got these, but I think that she was doing a job on that farm and she cleaned up the strawberry patch. And she offered us a whole bunch of strawberry starts. So all of these came from those strawberry starts, and they need to be transplanted into the green stalk, which we haven't done yet. We've only been back from Kentucky for a week, and we haven't had time to do that yet. But they're in pots, and we'll get them transplanted into the container garden. Now the other half of this, we brought home about double of this. The other half went to her sister, Caitlin, who also has a YouTube channel. Now I almost forgot the last section of the container garden, and that is this green stalk. I have a confession. I'm not a very good lettuce grower. It just doesn't grow well for me. I need to find the right variety. But this is what I've got, and I'm certainly gonna eat it. So this green stalk will actually become the home of all the strawberry plants. So the lettuce is probably going to have to go in. Now these are the mature grape plants. And last year we got our very first grapes from these 2 plants. There's 2 here, and they are doing fantastic. They are covered with little baby grapes. Let's check it out. You can see the little clusters of baby grapes. They are everywhere. Now Philip pruned these really well. Of course, when I'm looking for baby grapes, I can't find any. There's some in here. More there. Here. Now these have a trellis. They go up and over. And we have another one over here. Also lots of little baby grapes. So we are really excited about
the grapes this year.
Now, if you watch that very first garden tour that I've already done this year, you would think this is the end of the garden tour, but there's more. So what happened was we actually live on the property of Philip's parents, Danny and Joy Murphy. And Joy wanted a larger garden space. So Philip helped her out, brought in some topsoil, and got that going for her. And it turned out it was a little bit more space than she felt like she could handle. So she offered up half of it to us, and Philip wanted to jump on that. And we went ahead and planted more plants here in what I'm calling the garden annex. And I have some footage from that time, so check it out. Now we planted in here, there are peppers, green beans, zucchini, and I think some melons. I forget. And then on the outside here we have some tromboncino squash. Tromboncino squash are a fodder plant that we're growing for our animals on our farm. And so we're really excited to see how those grow this year. They're supposed to grow really well, so we'll check it out. Now here we have a variety of peppers, green and red, yellow, and I think there's a spicy. We bought all these from Starts so we could get a good start on them. You can see those pretty flowers. And then we planted a lot of green beans. Now we actually prefer bush beans, and Philip had these all planted and realized they're not bush beans, they're pole beans. So we're gonna have to do something about that. Now we also planted a couple of starter zucchini. Let's see. Don't see any zucchini yet, but that one's doing really well. And then there's another one over here in the opposite corner. Now I believe these are melons. And here is another loofah. They just grow everywhere. My mother-in-law may regret that I planted loofahs in her garden. Now the rest of the garden here is Joy's. She's got some containers out there that are doing really, really well. And this side is hers. So she's doing really well too. And looks like she's gonna have tomatoes very soon. Now these grapes are Jess and Eric's, and they have some really nice grapes on them. So this is the garden annex, and it also needs a little bit of water. I really despise these little grasshoppers. They can destroy the entire garden overnight. Well, friends, that's the end of the April garden tour, and welcome to the garden annex in addition to the container garden. I can't wait till next month and show you how much we're growing in our small space. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.